Steiner education is a worldwide way of practicing pedagogy whereby we put the developing child foremost in the consciousness of the teacher and the institution itself, and trying to serve the needs of a child in an age-appropriate manner which respects the different cultures, different traditions, yet at the same time enables the child to be a full citizen in the modern world. Every human being comes with something to bring to the world, and that's what the curriculum and the method of teaching is there to allow the individual to find in themselves. The emphasis on Steiner education is to really create a harmonious society, that children learn to live together, that they have differences, different abilities, different capacities, but nevertheless one person is not less than another. And by bringing them together in a learning community, as they grow together, they begin to experience that, not just academically learning it, but experiencing that, and at the same time developing a deep interest and curiosity about the world and a wish to learn lifelong.
Well, I'm lead director of the Nuffield Foundation Review of 14 to 19 education, and of course Steiner does have a very explicit view as to what education is for, and I really wanted to come and see it.
Copper is a wonderful material for this application. It's a metal
This is really good map. I like it.
One of the most exciting things in Steiner education is the very, very real experience of seeing children excited about learning, to see them motivated, to see them inspired and curious, and to start asking questions about the world and about each other.
We are drawing all the rivers and the highland.
We made this, and now we're just painting it.
Well, in the UK there are 32 schools, and around the world about 900 in 70 different countries, and in Europe about 600.
We're drawing the school, so it's geography.
In Steiner schools, communities are very strong. It's very important to the school. In St. Paul's, the school I know, from the very beginning, the whole community has been involved in its building. This school has been developed by the parents. Everyone's taken part. You see the iconic pop star of the age sort of mucking out toilets next to the bus driver, you know. That's how it is here, and that's very healthy.
I just had no education. I don't really have a family, so for me, without here, I dread to think what our lives would have personally been like, because I don't know, I learnt about cooking skills, organic food, literature, you know, the literature that I read my children now, and the chance that they've got of a good life, what they probably wouldn't have had, really strikes me, because that's been quite profound for us.
We're cooking to make money. We're cooking to sell the food. And it's an open day, so there's lots of people. We went on a trip to Canterbury at the end of last year, and we took out a loan from the school to pay for it, and we have to pay it back. So Benji, what would you like on your offer?
I wish we could be a beacon of light really to the kids on the estate, and that's why I wish we could be more inclusive. Everyone's so dedicated here, it's so inspiring really.
Having been on the Steiner school tour, I think it's brilliant. They teach a lot of movement and dance. They teach a lot of creativity, and they teach when the child is ready, which is most important, I think. It's very good, and I will consider it for my son to come here, definitely.
Well, this is my first visit to a Steiner school. I'm very sad that I've not visited before, because I think it's very, very impressive. And I think the things that really do impress me is really the integration of thinking and doing and making.
So could we have Johanna, Ella, Max and Eloise? And Pascal. Do you help them empty the charcoal burner? They've learnt all about the coppicing and the management of woodland. They've put the green logs into the wood store. They've taken dry logs out of the wood store, filled the charcoal burner, and we've had a firing, and they've made charcoal. This is the part of the process where now the charcoal's being taken out. It's being weighed up. They're learning all about weights and measures, so this fits in beautifully. and then they're preparing the charcoal for the sale on the stall.
Our movement curriculum is totally integrated with the rest of the curriculum. We're not something which is an appendage on the outside. We educate children through the medium of movement and sports. For instance, in class 8, the 14-year-old is learning in biology about the bones of the human being, the gravity, the hardness of the bones. And in physics, they will be learning about gravity and the center of gravity and moments of force. And when they come to the gymnastics lesson, everyone will learn how to do a somersault, because in the somersault, you have to master your own center of gravity and turn around on that center of gravity.
We've been learning about Julius Caesar recently, and other such things to do with the Romans, including their roads.
You can kind of understand what they've been doing.
The activities, the making of things, the actively involved, say in music and in dance and so on, as integral to the development of thinking capacity is, I think, something which Steiner has really developed and I've seen here in practice.
Support them with your breath and then they'll be sweet.
I think the other things which I am also very impressed with is this emphasis upon values, the values which underpin all the activities that they do.
Every teacher strives towards a sort of wholeness within a lesson. Singing is a very important tool to use in the classroom, as is all music, in that it works on the social fabric of the class. It brings the children together, it harmonises them. Also, the recitation, the speech work that's done, the table recitation and the games, all of those elements bring the children together and really warm them up and move them into learning. And it is a learning experience in itself, but it's also preparing them for the more intellectual aspect of the lesson.
I like it because it's easier to learn and I enjoy working. In the old school, I felt like I was in a box with millions of people and no one was letting me out, and now I'm here, I'm in a field. You're basically allowed to be a child, and here you're allowed to enjoy everything.
Here, they relax more, and then that way it goes through your head much easier.
I've probably learnt more in the first few months that I've spent here than I would have ever learnt in the first few years at a state school. I've learnt how to sew, I've learnt how to paint properly, I've learnt how to shape things so they don't look like a drawing, actually look three-dimensional. I've learnt more in maths, and I absolutely hate maths, but it's not so bad anymore. And I've learnt so much more.
Postponing the beginning of reading to later, as I think happens in the Steiner schools, I see to be no disadvantage. Indeed, I see it to be an advantage. I think successful reading does depend upon oral skills prior to the reading skills. I think, therefore, what one needs to do is get young people to be self-confident in speaking and in listening, to be able to develop an extensive vocabulary. Then I think the reading would be a much easier and a much more understandable activity.
Like this, go vote Conservative. I want to vote Conservative. I would be Conservative.
In Steiner schools, between the age of 6 and 14, the children will ideally have the same teacher. Every day they'll start the day with 2-hour main lesson with the class teacher, who is then a sort of constant figure through those 8 years. But after break, they have various subject teachers: music teacher, eurythmy teacher, games teacher, German teacher. And the class teacher is actually only one of a team who are actually teaching the child at any one given time.
We learn 2 languages from the age of 6, and many people from Steiner schools do exchanges to other countries. Like me, I'm from Germany, and I live here with an English family, and I go to school, and it's very different. I learn about how they eat and how they live and their culture.
It is so important in this world that we get a larger dimension than our own domestic situation. So our children then go abroad and they can have the same lessons in a different language, in a different school, and yet feel themselves at home there. And in that way, it's a very deep experience of this common sense of humanity.
And if we're careful, we can just about get it to burn. You don't have to copper. What happens when you twist it?
I'm doing English A-level, English literature, and chemistry and biology A-levels. In the form of main lessons, you have all different. You have philosophy, you have history of art, you have like an optics, physics main lesson, you have genetics, biology main lesson, and that's 1.5 hours at the beginning of every day. For 3 weeks you have a block main lesson. And so while you're studying your A-levels, you also have the broadness of learning all of these different subjects alongside the A-levels.
I'm leaving school to go to university and do physics with philosophy, but it's mainly a physics course. And at A-level I'm doing maths, physics, art and Italian.
Some of our sister schools go up till 18. We only go to 16. So the first thing we had to do was to get a rapport with the local tertiary colleges, sixth form colleges.
We've come from a small Steiner school to this very big sixth form in a comprehensive school. And it's very different.
We've got a lot of students here from different schools, and what characterises Steiner students as opposed to other students is that they're articulate, they're very comfortable with adults, they're very confident about coming up and talking to me about issues. The Steiner students well prepared for A-levels? Yes. They bring good skills to their work. They've been used to independent working, they've been used to doing sustained pieces of work, which is quite a contrast to the students who go through the national curriculum, where I think there's a real tendency that they're spoon-fed.
I feel that the level they taught you at Steiner School, they marked us quite hard, and then when I came here I found it a lot easier, as in when I was at Steiner I was maybe a CB student, and now that I'm here I'm more a BA student.
6 twos are 12, 7 twos are 40.
Talking to the Steiner students, it's made me realise the things that we as a large secondary school can learn from the way that the Steiner students learn in their schools, and it's going to make me ask quite a few questions about that, yeah.
I think a Steiner school is a holistic, more well-rounded education, encourages creativity, non-judgmental. They're the things that I think of when I think of a Steiner school. I think as a academic, quite competitive person, going to a Steiner school was really helpful because it made me much more well-rounded, much more respectful of other people. It gave me this sort of creative edge, which has really carried me through the rest of my academic studies.
The competition isn't with the other person, the competition's with themselves, and because of that it makes them very dynamic, very powerful people who have very strong sense of direction. They're quite capable of leading, they're quite capable of taking on responsibility, And both those things we nurture, particularly here, because of the practical way in which we work with the students.
Where have you been all this time? The whole town. There's the town. Okay.
Where have you been all this time? The whole town's been out looking for you.
I know, Ma. Well, you see, we've been pirates.
Pirates?
Pirates.
If you really are going to be interested in the values that underpin education, these values have got to be absolutely integral to the thinking of the teachers.
To teach in a Steiner school is to teach in a place where you have a lot of freedom. We are in front of the children and with the subject we have to teach, but we're free about how to do it. The only way to teach in a Steiner school is to love the children and to love what you are doing.
And again, a bit more.
A Steiner teacher needs to know first and foremost that teaching is actually a learning profession. You're not there to deliver knowledge to the children, but you're there to grow with the children. And the children have as much to teach you as you think you have to teach the child. And this is the developing capacity, and that keeps the enthusiasm for teaching alive. You're never standing still. You're always finding aspects of yourself that you didn't know existed before.
Education shouldn't really end at 16 or 18 or 19. It goes on throughout your life. And I think if the child has a positive experience in education to begin with, then they will continue to learn and want to learn all through their lives.
If someone asked me, what is a student from a Steiner school about, I would say that's what they're about. They're about wanting to learn, wanting to know, wanting to meet the world. And I think that's who we send out from here.
Steiner School is a place where you learn subjects, you learn about people, you learn how to respect other people, how to love other people, and most of all, how to love yourself.
These are the sort of values which are really going to enable people to live life very fully. The stress upon personal development, upon self-esteem. I mean, all these are crucial values, absolutely crucial to the world, as it were, external to the school.
I think a Steiner school is a place where a child can learn real self-sufficiency and an ability and an encouragement to think for themselves. I wish I'd gone to a Steiner school.
Yay! We love school!
Oh, absolutely. I would send my kids to a Steiner school.
Hey you, yeah you, it's a rush from your kiss and a touch that I miss. It's killing me, cause I'm meant to be. Can't you see I appreciate that you make me wait, cause I can take the potential hate. To rush from your kiss, touch that I miss. Yeah, yeah. A touch that I